Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel English Fluency Lab, where I help you improve your English language skills. Friends, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about horrible advice that is given to English language learners, because of which they get completely frustrated and give up. Now friends, this is coming from my 10 years of experience as a communication coach. And I have seen that there are two or three things, rather three things to be specific, which cause a lot of damage in the learning process of beginners. Now, I do understand that every coach, trainer, teacher has a different style of teaching, right? And I'm not criticizing anybody's style, but these are the three things I have seen which cause a lot of frustration to English language learners, and I would avoid them. All right, so let's get started right away. The first advice given to English language learners is read the newspaper every day if you want to learn English. Now, friends, this is the most ridiculous piece of advice which you would give to an English language learner, especially at the beginner's level, right? Now, I'm going to give you reasons for that, but if you want to learn English, right, please do not read the newspaper to learn English. Now, you may read the newspaper to catch up with the current events, but at the beginner's level, don't read the newspaper to learn English. Now, let me support that with reasons, right? Now, in a newspaper, there are some changes in the vocabulary and grammar of newspaper English, especially in the headlines, the titles of the articles. Because there is less space, right? What I mean out here is a lot of information needs to be given in 8 to 10 pages. Articles, prepositions, and auxiliary verbs are often omitted from headlines, right? And let me give you some examples. Man killed in accident. This is what you would read in a newspaper. The correct sentence is, a man was killed in an accident. Was is missing, an is missing. Was is a verb, an is an article. As I told you out here, article, prepositions, and auxiliary verbs are missing in newspapers. Now, this can be very confusing to a learner. Expert claims cell phones dangerous. This is what you would read in a newspaper. Correct statement is, an expert claims that cell phones are dangerous. Which are the words missing out here? That is missing. Are is missing. Again, can be very confusing. President caught in scandal. Correct one is, the president was caught in a scandal. The article the is missing. The verb was is missing. The article is missing. Right? So sentence has been shortened and all these things are missing. So these things can be very confusing to a beginner, especially if you've taught them article, preposition, and auxiliary verbs, and he reads these sentences in newspapers, he would wonder, why are they not complete? Right? Let's move on and understand more about newspaper English. To add action and urgency, verbs are often in the present even when the event was in the past. Right? Let's take an example. Local woman wins $10 million in lottery. This is what you would see in a newspaper. The correct sentence is, a local woman has won $10 million in the lottery. Okay? Has is missing. Right? The article the is missing. Right? Let's take another one. President visits Asia. The president visited Asia recently. This is the correct sentence. All right. Another thing in newspapers, that for events in the future, headlines often use to plus base form of the verb instead of will or going to. Now, if you teach future tense to a beginner, you will always tell them to use will or shall, right? But newspapers don't do that, right? For example, president to visit Asia. Something which is going to happen in the future. The correct sentence is, the president will visit Asia in the future. This is the correct way of expressing it. However, newspapers express it like this. Apple to reveal new iPhone on Friday. Correct sentence, Apple will reveal the new iPhone on Friday. So this is how newspapers express future events, by using to, and again can be very confusing to some learners. So that is the first horrible piece of advice, friends, that please don't read the newspapers if you're at the beginner's level. Now, I advise reading the newspapers to my students who are taking maybe the advanced course, but definitely not at the beginner's level. All right, let's move on to the second most horrible piece of advice, right? The second horrible piece of advice is to watch the American TV series Friends. Now, friends, what happens is, this is more applicable to Asian countries, because I'm a teacher in India. This is more applicable to Asian countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, where advice is given to people at the beginner's level that, you should watch the American TV series Friends. Now, again, when you watch Friends, Friends is like true blue American accent, and they speak very fast. And again, a lot of information, a lot of funny things have to be packed in that half an hour episode. So when somebody watches Friends and he listens to them speaking fast in the American accent, an accent which he does not understand, again, it causes a lot of confusion and frustration, right? So Friends may not be the right thing to watch when somebody's at the beginner's level. I usually advise people to watch Friends when somebody is taking the voice and accent class from me. If somebody wants to understand the American accent, if somebody wants to understand the American culture, the American way of living, that's the right time to watch Friends. But if you're at the beginner's level, I would say don't watch Friends. Maybe at an intermediate level, Friends would be the right thing, right? So that's the second most horrible piece of advice. Please don't watch Friends if you're at the beginner's level. Let's move on. The third and the last horrible piece of advice given to learners is that translate everything from your first language. Now, this is again a very ridiculous thing which I have, advice which I have heard. In fact, I have seen some people giving books in their native language, and they ask people to exactly translate those sentences into English. Now, friends, what you need to understand is that every language, right? Let's take Hindi, for example, because I'm based in India. Let's take Hindi, for example. Every language has its own sentence structure. English, for example, has a structure of subject plus verb plus object, right? Now, that may not be the exact structure in your native language. Okay, maybe in a Hindi or a Gujarati or any other which is your first language, and you're trying to learn English, right? So translation, okay, yes, you may want to learn some basic sentences, but I have seen some people who just want people to learn by translating from their native language. Now, when you tell somebody at the beginner's level that, hey, the sentence structure in English is subject plus verb plus object, and when he sees that in his native language, in his first language, that is not the case, he again tends to get confused, right? So these are the three horrible pieces of advice which I would ask people to avoid at the beginner's level. First is don't read the newspapers. Second is don't watch the American TV series Friends. And third is don't literally translate from your first language to English. That may not be the right way to learn, right? So friends, if you have enjoyed this video, if you have found this valuable, please give me a like. Please subscribe to my channel. And please to press the bell because I keep coming up with videos like these to help you improve your English language skills. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.